Did you know that starting the morning the wrong way can ruin your entire day? Imagine how great it would be to wake up without stress, without rushing, and feel calm and confident in every step you take. The Stoics understood that it is the morning that determines whether we will be able to remain calm in the chaos of the modern world. They taught us how to prepare ourselves for the challenges of the day, how to remain resilient and not let circumstances control our thoughts and emotions. Today, when our days start with smartphones, news, and endless to-dos, in this video I will show you the proven practices of the Stoics that will help you start your day the right way, with a clear mind, inner peace, and focus on what matters most. No magic, just effective philosophical principles that work. The beginning of the day is the starting point that determines the entire course of events, your mood, and your ability to cope with challenges. Every morning, we face a choice: letting chaos rule us or consciously setting ourselves up for calm and productivity. In today's world, where most of us wake up and immediately reach for our phones, we start chasing news, notifications, and other people's problems uncontrollably. This creates stress even before we have time to think about ourselves and our true priorities. As a result, the day begins not with clarity, but with anxiety and haste. The Stoics understood that the morning is the time when you can prepare your mind for any circumstances. They believed that the right start to the day is a workout for the mind that makes it resistant to external challenges. Stoic philosophy teaches that we do not control events, but we can always control our reaction to them. It is in the morning that we can set the right direction for our attitude to life. Imagine that your mind is a muscle. If you don't exercise it in the morning, it will remain weak in the face of the stresses and chaos of the day. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "When you wake up in the morning, think about how happy it is to live, breathe, think, be happy, and love." This simple phrase is a reminder of the main thing. We have been given another day, another opportunity. Waking up with gratitude is the first step to living a conscious and useful day. When you stop for a moment and reflect on the fact that you can breathe, think, feel, and love, you feel a sense of peace and joy. Life already gives you enough to feel happy, but it's important to notice these simple things. Psychologists confirm that morning rituals have a huge impact on mental and emotional health. If you start the morning with silence, quiet planning, or just a few minutes of mindfulness, you give yourself the opportunity to set your mind in a positive way. It's like creating a solid foundation for the whole day. On the contrary, if you immediately face chaos in the morning, your mind becomes vulnerable to stress and anxiety, and even the smallest problems will seem bigger than they really are. The Stoic principle of living now emphasizes the importance of every moment. All we have is this morning, this particular moment, which we can use wisely. The Stoics taught to focus on what is in your power. You can't control what will happen to you during the day, but you can control how you face that day. A good morning is an opportunity to prepare yourself, strengthen your inner state, and face the day's circumstances with a clear mind and calmness. Training your mindset in the morning will help you avoid emotional breakdowns and unnecessary stress. Epictetus said that people suffer not because of the events themselves, but because of their perceptions of them. This means that when you tune your mind to calmness in the morning, you create an internal resistance to anything that may happen. You don't need hours of meditation or complex practices to start your day right. A few minutes of conscious awakening and the realization that this morning is your chance to change something in your life is enough. Think of it as an investment in your mood, health, and inner peace. Start the day with gratitude, with a clear plan, and without unnecessary noise. Then you'll see how even the most difficult circumstances stop scaring you, and the world around you seems less chaotic and more understandable. The beginning of the day is the moment when you can determine its course. In Stoicism, this time is especially important because it is in the morning that you can tune your mind to calmness, awareness, and alignment with your own values. The first step advised by the Stoics is a reminder of death, known as Memento Mori. The idea may seem paradoxical. Why think about death in the morning? But this very realization makes your life more fulfilling. When you remind yourself that every day could be your last, You no longer allow yourself to waste time on nonsense, quarrels, or meaningless procrastination. One way to apply this reminder is to use short phrases that you can say to yourself every morning. For example, today I don't have time for nonsense. I'm going to do something important. This phrase immediately sets you up for specificity and purposefulness. It helps you realize that your time is limited, so you should focus on what really matters, not on superficial trivialities. You stop wasting time on things that don't contribute to your development or joy. If this day could be your last, why not make it your best? This technique helps to develop resilience to stress and difficulties that may arise during the day. If you start the day with the realization that every moment is precious, you will be able to deal with adversity with understanding and calmness. Thinking about death helps reduce the fear of it. Instead of living in constant fear of losing something or someone, you will begin to perceive every moment as an opportunity to live life to the fullest. Imagine that today you can do the most important thing you can and enjoy every minute of it. After all, death is not the end. It's just a natural stage that we all inevitably approach. But what is important is that we cannot control time, so every moment of it should be used to the maximum benefit. When you start your day with a Memento Mori, it also forces you to consider your priorities. At some point in our lives, we've all faced the idea that time passes quickly and we don't always find time for what's really important. This reminder helps you to prioritize and understand what you need to leave behind. It allows you to develop discipline and focus. In a world where new temptations and distractions are constantly emerging, the reminder of death forces you to make informed decisions that lead to long-term results. Another important component of this practical approach is the realization that death is not a tragedy, but part of a natural cycle. The Stoics did not see it as something negative. They saw it as an inevitability that must be accepted with dignity. Since death is an inevitable part of our existence, the Stoics suggest that we accept it with respect and calm. This philosophy changes not only your attitude towards death, but also towards life in general. You begin to appreciate the present more, to be grateful for every new day, every new opportunity. Subconsciously, you try to make every day better because you know that it may be your last. Ultimately, the morning reminder of death becomes not only a tool for focusing on what is important, but also an important aspect of a deeper understanding of life and death. This reminder gives you the strength to make the right choices, to tune into the day with optimism and gratitude. You no longer waste time worrying about the unnecessary or minor problems. You have a clear realization that your life, every moment of it, is priceless, and therefore worth using it wisely. Remember that you cannot get time back, so use it wisely, with awareness and gratitude for every day you are given. Let's move on to the next practice, which is an integral part of preparing for the day according to the Stoic philosophy. After you have realized the importance of each day, realizing that your life is limited, and decided to focus on what really matters, you can move on to visualizing potential difficulties, or premeditatio malorum. This is an important practice that helps us prepare for possible difficulties and stressful situations that may arise during the day. The Stoics believe that we should not be afraid of problems and adversity, because they are part of our lives. Instead, it is important to develop the ability to deal with them calmly, respond to them appropriately, and use them as opportunities for growth. Running through possible problems and difficulties in your head helps you not only to be prepared for them, but also to maintain inner peace in difficult situations. Premeditatio malorum is the art of anticipating negative events and training the mind to remain calm when they actually happen. This practice is not about looking for the negative or creating problems where there are none. It is about preparing for real difficulties, for those situations that may come your way, so that you can face them with awareness and inner resilience. To begin with, the first part of this practice is to become aware of and run through the possible problems you may be facing. These problems can be completely different, from a difficult conversation with a colleague or boss to irritation over traffic jams, or even pain because someone didn't appreciate your efforts. It's important not to just guess at these difficulties, but to visualize them in more detail. For example, you might think, Today I may face the fact that someone will not be satisfied with my work, or my plans may be ruined due to an unforeseen situation. How will I act in this case? Imagining these situations allows you to understand what to expect and reduces your stress level when these events actually happen. As you continue this process, you can think about how you will respond to these difficulties. The Stoics taught that while you cannot control external events, you always have a choice in how you respond to them. If you visualize someone being annoyed or insulting, think about how you can remain calm without letting those emotions control you. You realize that the way other people behave is not your responsibility. It is their choice, but it is your choice how to respond to their words or actions. This practice allows you to be independent of what is happening outside and maintain your inner balance, regardless of the circumstances. For example, you can imagine that today someone might make you angry or outraged. You might think, "Today I may be annoyed by others, but it's their actions, not my choice." This phrase makes a lot of sense because it reminds you of a key principle of Stoicism. We cannot control the actions of other people, but we can choose how to react to their words or actions. Thus, visualizing these problems helps you to perceive them from a distance as possible, but not necessary. If they do happen, you will be ready for them. Moving on to the importance of this practice, we can say that it reduces the risk of negative emotions in case something goes wrong. If you have already foreseen what might happen, you can react to it with calmness rather than an emotional storm. The Stoics believed that the best way to overcome difficulties was to be prepared for them, to train your ability to respond to them with inner calm and clarity of mind. They also argued that this does not mean expecting the worst, but simply being prepared for any eventuality. Instead of worrying about what might happen, visualizing potential difficulties helps you prepare yourself in advance for possible problems. You realize that even if something goes wrong, it's not the end of the world, and you have the power and ability to handle any situation. Therefore, this practice not only reduces stress, but also gives you inner freedom. You are no longer afraid of difficulties because you are ready for them and have a clear idea of how to cope with them. Another advantage of this practice is that it teaches you to stay calm in any situation. When you realize that difficulties are not a disaster, but a normal part of life, you begin to see them not as problems, but as opportunities for growth and development. Not only do you become less vulnerable to emotional turmoil, but you become more resilient in the long run. Your ability to perceive difficulties as part of the life process helps you to maintain balance, even in the most difficult situations. Thus, visualizing potential difficulties is not only a practice of foresight, but also a tool for training inner resilience and calmness. This technique, which is one of the main practices of Stoicism, helps you not to be afraid of changes and unpredictable circumstances, but teaches you to accept them as part of life. If you can accept what may happen in the future and let go of the fear of it, you will be able to maintain inner calm in any situation, even when the outside world looks troubled. Focusing on the responsibilities of the day is an important practice for starting the day right, as it helps to avoid distractions and ensures productivity. The Stoics emphasize the importance of managing one's time and resources because, as Seneca said, life is short if it is wasted. This means that every minute of your time is priceless, and only proper planning and a conscious attitude to your responsibilities allows you to live your day in a way that makes sense. Start your day by making a clear plan where you identify the main tasks that need your attention. It doesn't need to be a very complicated or detailed list, just a few important items that you will focus on throughout the day. Planning gives you a clear understanding of what needs to be done and avoids the feeling of chaos or hopelessness that often occurs when you start the day without a specific goal. A key part of this practice is realizing that the day can be wasted if you don't focus on what is really important. Seneca emphasized that time is the most valuable resource, and when we spend it mindlessly, we don't just lose hours, but deprive ourselves of the opportunity to live a meaningful life. Define the main goal for the day. Think about what specific steps you need to take to achieve it, and be sure that your life is moving in the right direction. This practice not only helps you to be more productive, but also strengthens your sense of internal control and discipline. Instead of giving in to momentary desires or random impulses, you keep your focus on what matters. The more you practice this, the easier it will be for you to manage your time and make decisions that are aligned with your long-term goals and principles. Preparing the mind through silence is an important practice that the Stoics use to achieve inner peace and focus on what is important. In the modern world, where there are constant distractions, it is important to find time to be alone with yourself and your thoughts. Silence gives you the opportunity to dive deep into your own mind, find inner peace, and set yourself up for a productive and focused day. The Stoics believe that in order to achieve true inner peace, one must have a clear mind and the ability to self-control. They offered many practices aimed at developing this control, and one of them is meditation, as well as the use of silence as a tool for self-awareness. It is important not only to seek external peace, but also to learn to find it within yourself. The silence you create around you allows you to focus on what really matters and to let go of all the unnecessary thoughts and emotions that may be disturbing you. To begin this process, it is important to disconnect from the outside world for at least a few minutes. It can be as simple as sitting down in silence, closing your eyes, and just listening to your own breath. The silence gives you the space to have time to think about what you need to do, your goals, and the important principles you want to keep throughout the day. In this context, the Stoics often emphasize that we should not allow external circumstances to control our minds and emotions. They believe that inner peace is the result of a constant practice of mindfulness and self-control, and the first few minutes of silence can be the perfect start to this process. Meditation, as a tool to prepare the mind, is a powerful way to set yourself up for the day. It doesn't have to be a long practice or complicated techniques. All you need is a few minutes of silence that you can devote to simply focusing on your breath. A meditation technique that you can practice every morning is to focus on your inhalations and exhalations. Observe how the air enters and leaves your body without trying to change this process, but simply accepting it as it is. Watch your thoughts carefully, but do not get caught up in them. If your mind starts to wander, just go back to observing your breath. This process helps to calm the mind and develop the ability to concentrate on the important things rather than on small problems or distractions. Meditation not only improves concentration, but also helps you become aware of your own emotions and feelings. In a moment of silence, you can observe how your emotions change, how stress or anxiety begins to diminish, and inner peace takes its place. The absence of external noise makes it possible to feel that all external factors can be controlled, and that your mind, like your body, can be in harmony with the environment. This understanding is essential for building resilience, maintaining balance even in difficult situations. An important part of this practice is accepting the world as it is, without wanting to change or control everything around you. In Stoicism, there is a concept of amor fati, which means acceptance of fate. This also applies to the practice of meditation. We accept every moment, every situation, as part of our life's journey. This doesn't mean that we should be passive or inactive, but rather that we recognize that there are things we cannot influence, and that is okay. When we allow ourselves to accept the world as it is, we get rid of internal resistance and conflict. A phrase that you can repeat during this meditation is focus on your breath. Accept the world as it is. This allows you to set up for the day with inner peace, without expectations or struggles with what is happening around you. You don't focus on the external circumstances, but on how you react to those circumstances, on your ability to stay calm and sane. This will become a powerful tool for starting every day with harmony and inner peace. This practice also helps to develop emotional stability. Since the Stoics believed that emotions should not be controlled by external factors, but should be balanced by inner peace, meditation is a great way to develop this ability. After a few minutes of meditation or silence, your mind becomes clearer and you gain the ability to see things as they are without unnecessary emotional stress. This allows you to stay calm and focused throughout the day, even if there is chaos around you. Overall, preparing your mind through silence is an extremely powerful tool to help you set yourself up for a productive and peaceful day. It not only reduces stress levels, but also allows you to develop inner peace, accept the world as it is, and maintain clarity of mind even in the most difficult situations. The morning phrases of the Stoics help to set the mind in the right frame of mind and set the right priorities for the whole day. The Stoics believe that words have a powerful influence on our thoughts and emotions, so it's important to start the day by focusing on what's really important. One of the main phrases worth repeating every day is, "I control only my thoughts and actions." It reminds us that we cannot influence all the circumstances around us, but we always have power over how we react to them. This phrase helps to maintain inner calm and focus on what is in our control. Another important phrase is, "No matter what happens today, I will remain calm." It reminds us that regardless of external difficulties, we can remain calm and balanced. These phrases help to set the mind to face each day with wisdom and resilience. To summarize, today we have reviewed 5 Stoic practices that will help you start the day right and set yourself up for success and inner peace. These are the reminder of death, Memento Mori, visualization of possible difficulties, premeditatio malorum, practice of gratitude for life, focus on the duties of the day, and preparation of the mind through silence. Each of these practices is a powerful tool for developing inner resilience, clarity, and calmness. Try to start your day tomorrow the way the Stoics teach, and share your impressions in the comments. Let us know which practice you like the most. If you were curious, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. Remember that every morning is a new opportunity to be the best version of yourself.